Hello, good day everyone. Welcome to the 7th Kuala Lumpur International Conference on Social Science and Humanities. I am Associate Professor Dr. Noor Hanim Rahmat. I'm from the Academy of Language Studies, Universiti Teknologi Mara at Johor Branch, Pasir Gudang Campus, Malaysia. My keynote title today is Fulfilling the 4 Quadrants as a Lecturer. When I first got this invitation as to give a keynote, I quickly remembered a paper that I wrote at the beginning of the year, alright, and the title is Revisiting Lecturers' Role Towards a Model of Lecturers' Quadrant. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I wrote in the paper, and a little bit more of other things as well that is related to the quadrants. Let's begin. Right, by nature of our job description, we are called lecturers, we are called teachers, we are called instructors. People call us by many names, right? And we carry out at least one common basic duty, and that is teaching. Alright, over the years, the job scope of teachers, lecturers or instructors has changed due to the growing needs of the society, and more so even now for online learning. Our job scope has changed. Alright, maybe more, definitely not less. Good teaching methods are still in use, perhaps with many tweaks to make methods suitable for the current generation of learners. According to Larson Freeman 2000, the concept of principal eclecticism refers to the instructor's choice of teaching approach, and the instructor will consider different trends and ideas that occurred historically first, alright, and try to choose the one that most fits the particular classroom setting. Eclectic method is a combination of different learning based on the best parts that are beneficial from a variety of teaching than the weakness of a particular method, so that the weaknesses can be avoided. At the end of the paper, I actually came up with a theoretical model for lecturers' quadrant, right? And in the model, I have four important key terms, keywords in the quadrant, and number 1 is teaching. Across, number 2 is innovation. Then we have research and publication, number 3, and number 4, industry and community engagement. All right, I'll explain further. All right, okay, let's I will explain to you quadrant by quadrant. All right, okay, let's look at the quadrant. The first quadrant is what I call the lecturer's quadrant. All right, it involves teaching. All right, that's what I do when I'm in the class. This is how I teach. I move around, I paste things, I hang things. All right, and yes, I try to make my learners enjoy the learning as much as I enjoy teaching. All right. I saw this quote when I was preparing these slides. Couldn't help it. I just had to share this with you. What is a teacher? I'll tell you. It isn't someone who teaches something. That's not just a teacher, but someone who inspires the student to give of her or his best in order to discover what she already knows. With the advance of technology and the internet, many of the things that we bring into the class, the students do not enter our class, whether it is online or whether it's real face-to-face. They do no longer come into our class with zero knowledge. So we are supposed to, we inspire them, all right, to know more than what they already know. All right. I found these tenets for effective teaching. There are 3 tenets for effective teaching, and what are they? Number 1 is the learner strategies. A good teacher must be able to know the different types of strategies that learners use and actually use it for the benefit of the students. And also number 2, the learning process. All right, especially my niche area is writing. So you do not just teach writing and ask them to write. There is a step-by-step process that the students need to go through. All right, and the third effective method of teaching is learning situations and the environment. Those are the three things that can make teaching effective. All right. In addition to that, I also found some views of teaching. All right, there are three views of being a teacher. All right, remember the first quadrant is teaching. All right, so teacher as transmission, where the instructor is the center of the learning process. All right, the instructor comes in the class and the instructor is the know-all, and the students wait to be given knowledge. And it's actually using the theory of behaviorism through stimulus and response. All right, the teacher gives the stimulus for learning and the students will give their response. All right, and the second view is teacher as transaction. All right, we give them the knowledge. All right, so this one follows constructivist perspective, where the learners will build their own understanding of the content through activities. All right, maybe group activities. They will slowly build understanding of the content by interacting with the activities, doing things with it, and also through the social interaction with their peers and even with the teacher. The third one is teacher as transformation. Transform the classroom into a culture of teaching as inquiry. All right, we don't expect students to just listen to what we have to hear all the time. All right, so we want them to want to learn. Okay, we want them to honestly ask questions because they want to know, not because they want to know whether we know. All right, okay. So it's the third one is teachers as transformation. Right, next one. Another one also for teaching, first quadrant, is the teacher that makes a lot of difference, and it's not the classroom. All right, it's the teacher. Yes, true, it's the environment, but it's the teacher who actually gives that environment to the students. All right, it's up to the teacher to give the environment to the student. Okay, what the teacher is? Yes, we are the role model. Whether we like it or not, our students are constantly looking at us, looking up to us. I hope not down at us, looking up to us, and some of them even use us as role model. So what the teacher is more important than what he teaches. So we have to bring good examples in the classroom when we teach. Students learn from what we teach, and they also learn from what we don't teach. All right, okay, next one. Teachers have three loves. One is the love of learning, love of learners, and the love of bringing the two together. The love of learning and the love of learners. I'm going to talk about that. Okay, this brings me to the second quadrant. The second quadrant is innovation. All right. Okay, so I tie this to love of learners. We love the learners. We want the best for them. All right. So what do? We become innovative. We want to give them the best. Okay, we want them to learn the best way they can. We want them to maximize their learning. All right. So therefore, the second quadrant is number one is teaching. I hope and I assume all of us are already good at that, teaching. All right. So we have no problem with that. Now we have the second quadrant, innovation. Do you have it? Teaching can be seen as a form of inquiry on the part of the teachers. According to the report by the Ministry of Education of New Zealand 2011, teaching as inquiry is a professional development noted for improving teachers' learning and to also enhance students' learning. Teaching as inquiry, teaching as inquiry is a very good angle to take as teachers, all right? It involves discovery, problem solving, and research aimed at improving teaching practices. All right, teaching involves making explorations on the part of the teachers as well as the learners. Therefore, we must be creative in the classroom and we must be innovative. I always believe that more than one teacher. Okay, for example, 3 teachers teaching the same course using the same syllabus under the same curriculum. If you enter the different classroom, you will realize that they are not the same. The content may be the same, but the way it is taught, the way that it is presented to the students are not exactly the same. That is actually innovation, right? So the best teachers will teach from the heart, not from the book. Of course, you have to follow the syllabus, you have to follow the curriculum, but you teach from the heart, all right? If you teach from the heart, you want the best for your learners. All right, let's add innovation. Okay, that is the second quadrant still. What is innovation? Innovation is needed because of the growing need for knowledge. Nevertheless, teachers may be faced with some barriers, all right? Some of us, a new semester is going to, will begin, and we'll say, okay, I want to do something innovative in the classroom. And when the semester begins, you feel as if, it won't work. You find that there are barriers which you never thought of, all right? Teachers may be faced with some barriers when planning innovations in teaching. The barriers can come from the teachers, okay, who need to update their knowledge, from the institution, or even from the learners, all right? When the learning environment is faced with more barriers in learning, the teacher needs to intervene. There you are, right? So teacher prepares the environment, but if there are barriers, and the barriers can come from the teacher's knowledge, the barriers can come from the learners, all right? And the barriers can come from the institution, all right? And whatever that you try to facilitate may be a little bit more difficult. It may not fail, but you need more effort, all right? So the innovation needs to be shared, and after you have done something creative in your classroom, don't forget to share with the researchers, with the educators out there. With internet, you share it with the world very easily, actually. Okay, why innovation? All right, why must we have the second quadrant? I have been teaching for so many years. I've been doing it well. My students have been doing well in their courses. Why should I have innovation? Well, we should understand how our students learn. All right, according to Lascaris 2015, learners of today, the millennials, all right, when they learn, they want something that is research based. All right, don't be surprised if they want to check whether it has been done before, or whether when it was done before it was successful or not. Okay, they want proof of that. All right, they want to know whether it is relevant to what they are doing. Okay, and they want to know the rationale behind it. All right, and yes, definitely, you see all the pictures of my teaching experiences with my students, learners of today. They want something relaxed, something fun, all right, and they want rapport in the classroom. That's what they want these days. All right, next one. What are they expected to learn according to Beckons 2010? We expect that there will be changes in their knowledge and beliefs. All right, many times, all right, some students may be a bit negative about learning something new, but when they start learning it, or they start believing certain things about some knowledge, but when they know more about it, they look at it deeper, and they realize that yes, my belief about that particular knowledge has changed. All right. And number two, we hope that whatever that they learn, they can use it later. And next one, we hope that there will be changes in their practices later. And finally, we hope that there will be changes in emotion. Even the simple fact that they may not have liked it before, but they start liking it, that will be change of emotions. All right. So these are our learners today. All right. Okay. More on innovation. This is my favorite part. All right, which brings me to my RPI cycle. Right, in 2019, I wrote a paper. I wrote a short paper for Terra on RPI cycle. RPI means research, publication, and innovation cycle among academicians. All right, what is it? Number one is, you see, it's actually a cycle. It can go around. It can go continuously. Right. The first one is the research, publication, and innovation cycle for academicians can begin with classroom ideas. Anything that you think of, that you know this is something that you are going to try, and you feel that it's not been done that way before, it's a new idea, all right, then you need to write about it, all right, and after you write about what you have taught, you need to publish a paper. That's just the third in the RPI. We haven't reached number 4 yet. And then when you have published the paper, don't forget to get a copyright for it, intellectual property right, IP, for that particular method of teaching. All right, then don't just stop there. We have lots of innovation competition. That's why number 2 is in innovation in the quadrant. All right, lots of innovation competition. Schools, universities encourage teachers, lecturers, even students to take part in innovation competition. So yes, you have something innovative in the classroom, you write about it, you publish a paper, and you apply for copyright. It's a new method, it's an interesting method, and then you take part in an innovative competition. When you take part in the competition, after the competition, don't just stop there. It is interesting enough, maybe write about it. Maybe people who attended, people who saw your product during the innovative competition, your method, might want to know how to do it step by step. So go and write a very short book of how do you go about teaching the way that you do. All right, okay, then after that, don't stop there. That particular book that you've written there, all right, you can take part in another innovative competition, and that's the end of the RPR cycle with just one innovative, creative way of teaching in the classroom. I believe we teachers have one creative or innovative way, and if we look at it carefully and we read about it, we can actually start writing about it. Let me share with you. All right? Okay. Classroom ideas, number one there. Number 1 in the RPI cycle, classroom ideas. Be creative in your teaching. Be good at what you do. Always think of ways to make your teaching fun. Make it real. All right, and have something interesting. And I'm sure when you try something new, because you see, even if you're teaching the same course to 2 different classes, it may not be the same way, and one of it may be a creative way. The other one, maybe you follow the syllabus, but the other one could be creative, and therefore you have your creative idea there, one there, right? So, and once you have it, you can go on to RPI cycle number 2, the research write-up. And what is it? Research based, all right, which brings us to point number 2, write about it. All right, write about it in chapters in a book, all right, and share with the world, share with others how you go about teaching that creative way of teaching, doing that creative way of teaching in the classroom, right? Share, all right. So you actually, that is the research write-up, all right. Then according to RPI cycle, we go to number 3. Number 3, don't just stop there when you start writing about it, all right? As academicians, don't you want to share with the world, all right? How do you do it? Send it for publication, all right? Journals, there are many different kind of journals that you can send to. Publish them, all right? So that will be cycle number 3. All this comes from innovation, and that is quadrant number 2, innovation. All right, okay, but it's related to and 3. All right, okay. Then what happens? Okay, so I will show you some examples of write up done. All right, you can write a short research paper, write an article and send it to a journal. All right, so this is focus on the I tried writing. I have been teaching writing for many years, and I found that my students enjoyed academic I enjoyed when I taught academic writing in a fun way. The thesis statement, the topic sentence, the controlling idea. I actually use movies, all right? So I actually tried it in the class, and I did a small research on it. I wrote it out, and I sent to a journal, all right? So I did a research write-up, and I even published it, all right? Then after that, that same research, that same creative way of writing, I move on ahead to another journal article, and I realized that apart from using the movies is for me to teach them how to write the main idea, the supporting details, the thesis statement, very difficult to teach that, and then topic sentences, all right? Then I realized that it helped them a lot for me to use color codes, all right? That, the main idea is in black, the first controlling idea is blue, second controlling idea is red, all right? And then you expand half the paragraph in blue, half the paragraph in red, and then you wrap it up in black. So I found, the color actually worked, and I wrote a paper on scaffolding color code. So after you've done your innovative way of teaching, write a research about it, small, an action research will do, something small, and write it in an article, all right? Then I have the second article, all right? Then after that, the same activity of learning how to write using movies and color code, I actually realized that, in the group, in the teaching of the writing, I even have group work. There will be 5 people in a group, and then out of the 5 people, one person will only write one paragraph. One person write the intro, another person, 3 people write the 3 main ideas, and the last one will write the conclusion. So that is actually jigsaw puzzle. So that becomes my jigsaw writing, and I wrote another paper on it. All right. So that's for RPI cycle number 2. All right. Number 2, this is actually number 2 and number 3, all right, for research and publication. So this is RPI cycle number 2 and 3, all right. Then what happens to number 4? So I didn't just stop there. Then I realized that I think it's something new. I did Google at that time. I realized that I haven't found anybody who actually taught topic sentences, controlling ideas, using color codes, using my diamond approach, using my movies, and actually copyright them. Okay, I applied for intellectual property at my university. So that will be number 4 in your RPI cycle. Number 1 is the classroom idea, 2 is research write-up, 3 is the publishing of the paper, 4 is the applying for the IP, intellectual property of the particular method of teaching. See, is this one way? Is this one classroom idea? Right, okay. Then number 5, you participate in innovative competition for the method of teaching. All right, so I took part in an innovative competition for the interesting way of teaching, which is teaching essay writing using movies and diamond approach, and I got some medals there. All right, so this is the first one. So my first product, normally when you enter innovative competition, is actually product. So my product is the innovative way of teaching. So this is my first product. Is it a teaching method? All right, so I got some medals for it. All right, then another medal for it. Okay, then I didn't stop there. All right, I went into RPI cycle number 6, and it's write a book. I wrote books. All right, I wrote 2 books. All right, I wrote one book on using movies and the diamond approach in essay writing. It's a very thin book. All right, and the other one is using color codes to teach academic writing. All right, and I have samples of my students writing there, and I teach step by step inside there. All right, so when the books were published, I then entered another innovative competition, and this time the product is the book. All right, so I have now completed one cycle, innovative cycle, the second quadrant for lecturers, and it's innovation. So I completed the cycle: classroom ideas, research write-up, publish papers, copyright for the method, first product, and then took part in innovative competition, and then write up how-to book, and then took part in innovative competition for the second product, which is the book. All right, okay, I got some medals. All right, and slowly we are entering quadrant number 3. Quadrant number 3, okay, is love of learning. Pause. Research and publication. When I was holding the post as the Deputy Dean of Research, one of the most difficult task that I had to do was to convince lecturers to write. Publish is like too far, all right? So publication is very difficult, all right? We are not talking about the fact that you have to publish because you are a lecturer. You have to publish because you want to get a promotion. We are not talking about your key performance index. We are not talking about all that. What we are talking about is, are you a scholar? All right, you have got your masters, you've got your PhD. Are you a scholar? Are you teaching in the universities? All right, or a higher institution? Then you are a scholar. Do you really think that you are a role model to your students? All right, what are the things that you do more than they do? All right, because now knowledge, everybody, anyone can get access to the knowledge that you already have. All right, so what's that? Level up. So are you a scholar? Scholarship, this is not in terms of money. Scholarship of teaching and learning. I found this when I was a few years ago, when I was trying to convince people to write in journal articles, to publish, to write about research, no matter how small it is. All right, teaching and research are two interrelated academic practice that teachers in higher institutions should participate in. It's not something that you say, I'm too busy teaching, I'm too busy doing other things, I'll find free time to write. Alright, scholarship means engaging in the original research. In addition to that, the work of a scholar is to reflect, look for connections, build bridges between theory and practice, and then communicate that knowledge efficiently. A teacher, an instructor, an educator, a lecturer needs to achieve this scholarship of teaching and learning. Okay, don't feel that you are being forced to publish. Don't feel that you are being forced to do research. It's the scholarship of teaching and learning. Do you have it? All right, they are the scholarship of discovery, the scholarship of integration, the scholarship of appreciation, application, and the scholarship of teaching. All right, so it's actually being a scholar, as yes, it is tied to the theory and practical part of it. Right? How do we gain it? According to Fang Hanel 2016, there are 3 features to get scholarship in teaching and learning. Try and see whether you can get any one of it. Grounding the work in discipline, specific and pedagogic knowledge and research, normally through engagement with the literature. Not stories, literature meaning the literature review, the theories that we read, the models that people write about. You got to read them. All right, maybe at the first, if you read articles, academic articles, it might bore you. So find something that you're interested in. All right, you should engage yourself with the literature of scholars, analyzing the practice to critical reflection on your teaching and learning of students. All right, you read about what people write in their articles, and then you ask yourself, yeah, I'm also doing it, but it's a different way. Yes, don't you want to write about it? All right, I'm also doing it. Yeah, this person is also doing it. Yes, then you have a critical reflection. If you don't have a critical reflection, that's why you go to sleep when you read journal articles. Disseminating the outcomes of scholarship of teaching and learning, work for peer review and public scrutiny in order to develop it. This can be done through research and publication. Okay, because when you go through peer review, your other peers from other universities, other institutions will read your work and say whether that they is good enough to be in the journal or not. So what is your level of SOTL? Okay, do you accumulate real or genuine excuses to postpone conduction of research? You do not make time to publish or research-based findings regularly. So where are you? A, B, or none? All right. Okay, this one is going to lecturers quadrant number 3. Number 1 was teaching, number 2 was innovation, number 3 is research and publication. So let's go down memory lane. All right, okay. I have published several papers, and some of the titles I shall share with you. I like to play around with the theories that I read. All right, I wrote a paper on educational psychology. I wrote a paper on self-determination theory. I wrote a paper on model of writing prophecies. A paper on cycle of fear in learning. I wrote a paper on cognitive and metacognitive paraphrasing strategies. You notice there's a lot of writing in it. All right, and I wrote on I like this one. Right, I after looking at my students write, after teaching writing for many years, I realized that there's a problem with the rhetorical problem. You got to read it to know what I'm talking about. So I wrote a paper on problems with rhetorical problems. All right. Okay, so that's it. We have covered one. We have covered the first quadrant, teaching. Second quadrant. And this is here, innovation across, and then this one is research and publication. Let's look at the last quadrant. Okay, let's look at the chain effect of knowledge, community, industry. If you have had the opportunity to become supervisors to students doing internship, then you know that there is definitely a need to engage with the industry. All right, so that's engaging with the industry. We also need to engage with the community. Now, in every society, education is important for the growth and development of communities. Education is the instrument of change. We educate people so that they can change, all right? That can transform the individuals in the communities, all right? And later transform the communities. As teachers, we actually impart knowledge so learners can be properly educated. The knowledge is then improved to research. All right, you reach a certain level of knowledge, you do research, you improve on the knowledge. The knowledge is used, and this particular knowledge is used to improve the community around us. All right, to have a start in our career in the industry for our students. All right, the industry can also help by inventing more facilities to make life better for the community. So the things that we do, we think is small contribution, all right, but it's actually a big thing when our students, they graduate and they use that knowledge to improve the communities around them. When they use the knowledge that they have gained from what they have learned to actually improve, to help the industry. All right, so that's actually the engagement. All right. What do students benefit from community engagement? Students gain a more adaptable skill set by engaging in experiential, real experiences. That's the internship and community-based learning. All right, they better prepare them for post-graduation. This approach also provides a deeper connection to the class content by encouraging students to apply the classroom knowledge to a real-world setting. There are a lot of universities now encouraging students to go out of the universities, to go out of the institution, to do things with the community, to do things with the society. All right, having just with the industry, engagement with the industry, internship is not enough. All right, you need to do things with the community to know what they want and to help to improve their lives after that. All right, what else? Benefits of collaboration between universities and industry and community. All right, collaboration allows knowledge transfer to take place. Knowledge is transferred both ways. The universities will transfer it to the industries and the communities, like what I say, through the students. All right, and the industries will then give back to us so that we can improve on our teaching, so we can better prepare them again. So it's actually a give and take. All right, it's both sides. It's a win-win situation. 3 elements involved in collaboration. What are they? All right, Reibnick and Kongsgruber reported that there are 3 distinctive elements involved in the collaboration between institutions, and the elements are: the institution needs to be flexible. All right, you must be flexible, and you must know what needs to be taken out, what needs to be added to improve the community. 2, they need to have a positive relationship factors. All right, that even if certain things don't work, they know how to move from them. And the third one is the output factors, and this will further facilitate more knowledge and also technology transfer. beautiful examples of industry engagement and university. All right, from the institutions, we have funding and we have infrastructure, we have equal partnership with them, we get students coming in, all right, we have goals, and then the industry will help. They are the one who give us that, so that we can prepare them with market aligned courses. We will develop more skilled manpower. We have solutions for some of the problems that they have, and we can improve on our operational approach. Next one. Yes, collaboration between industry and the university, right? We have social responsibility, we improve on talent, and we have innovation and research. Community engagement, all right, the last part. Community engagement, I found this very interesting information. There are 4 types of community engagement. I shall give you each type by showing some of the examples that my that I have done at my university. All right, number one is, first one is community engagement with focus on community development or community building. Number 2, community participation in consultation and decision making. Number 3, community engagement that helps organizations, business to improve their service delivery or achieve their goals. And number 4, community engagement as part of social change movements or as part of the work of voluntary community organization. Let's go one by one. Right? The first one is community engagement and with focus on community development for community building. There will be some people in your faculty, in your organization, who have the knowledge, who have the qualification to actually improve on the community outside. It can be motivational speech. It can be talks to help learners learn better. So we do that. We encourage students to do that, and we encourage lecturers to go out into the community to share their motivational knowledge to the community outside there. All right, so that's 1. 2, community participation in consultation and decision making. All right, I have had a wonderful experience of having engagement with universities from out of Malaysia. All right, and we've done a lot of engagement. We help with we exchange. Okay, we help with the teaching of English courses. In return, we also learn about the foreign languages that they can offer as well. So those are some of the simple community consultation and decision making that we can make. Number 3, community engagement that helps organization. We have this regularly where we actually meet with our stakeholders, and we have an open discussion, so we will know how to improve on our courses later. All right, okay. And the last one, number 4, is community engagement as part of social work. We encourage students to call individuals from outside to give a talk. We had this talk to talk where we can help the community. All right, I remember having fun lots of fun when we called somebody to talk about the sign language. All right, so our students get to learn it, and later they do community work to go out there and to communicate with students who actually use people who actually use sign language. All right, so that's community work, right? And we encourage our students to go out and share their knowledge to the society and the community out there. All right, so that's community engagement. So there you are, 4 quadrants. All right, we have number 1, teaching. I know all of you have that. All right, number 2, innovation. I'm sure there's something that you have right now. Think of it. So it can actually be your RPI cycle, and that's it. It can be your research, and it can be your publication, and it can go to the 3rd lecturer's quadrant. And finally, number 4, think of the little things that you can do for the industry and or the community, so that it becomes our duty as a lecturer becomes a complete whole, the 4 quadrants in. All right, and as you leave the teaching industry later, when you retire, all right, you might want to leave some footprints behind. All right, so remember what you have done. All right, and thank you very much for listening to my talk on the lecturer's quadrant. I hope you have had some knowledge and enjoyed some of the photos that I've shared with you. And to end, this is digital footprint. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a nice day. Enjoy the conference. Bye.